Good evening. This is Maestro Cortello with the Dawn of War 2 Retribution Elite Modcast. Today, we have a 3v3 on Estia Province. Our first player is che1349, I'll just call him Che. He is playing as the Lord General. The Lord General is the only hero who is a squad. He's a ranged hero, but he actually is decent in melee, at least in the early stages of the game. And he also has a retinue, because I already said that because he's a squad, and he has a lot of abilities for supporting allied units or his own units with buffs. Next up, we've got Infamus X playing as the Plague Champion. This is a Chaos Marine dedicated to the god of Nurgle. He is infected with diseases and numb to pain. He starts out with a damage over time bolter. He can also get a variety of melee weapons, makes him very good as a melee deterrent, although he is rather slow. He can also repair and support vehicles. Next up, we've got Deckard Kane, playing as the Lictor Alpha. The Lictor Alpha is an infiltrating melee hero for the Tyranids. Very powerful. He's got some pretty powerful weapons, and he's also got that flesh hook ability that he can use to just grab a targeted model and pull it towards him. On the other team, first of all, we've got energetic.vex, playing as the Warp Spider Exarch. This is a teleporting hero who starts out with those dual death splinters as well as dual blades. He can upgrade to get some power blades later on to make him even better in melee. He can also upgrade his range damage. Pretty good hero. Can generally teleport into cover and be safe. He's also got some pretty crazy late game warriors. Next up, we've got nnank, playing as yet another Plague Champion here, reloading, shooting, and ranged. And then finally, we've got Connors, maybe Jimmy Connors. Connors is playing as the Warboss. The Warboss is a tanky melee hero for the orcs. He starts out with a twinling shooter and a chain axe. He can be very aggressive, ties things up, he's very big, walks right through cover, although he can be suppressed. Estia Province, a nice change of pace. I mean, people play this map, but I feel like it's definitely not the most common map you see in cast, but it's pretty good, and I believe it's actually made by Ingrid, of all people. Anyway, some heretics right here approaching all these ranged units. They seem to be... They took some damage on approach, but I feel like not enough. I feel like between Shooter Boys, Chaos Space Marines, and a Plague Champion, those Chaos Heretics should not have been able to really get into melee, but they did. They got a Doom Blast. We have models dying on the Chaos Space Marine squad, and the Shooter Boys getting forced off, and if anything, lucky to not lose a model. Meanwhile, the Plague Champion is still here for nnank. I feel like he was very conveniently ignored, and we've got two Plague Champions very, very close to each other. That can be very, very threatening. I think it would be more important for Infamus here to force melee against that Plague Champion. I think force melee would have definitely resulted in a wipe on that Plague Champion. Anyway, Imperial Guard right here, facing down a Guardian weapon team. So we've got an Imperial Guard player up against a Eldar player, and that's generally considered a really tough matchup. Grenade goes in on the Guardsmen. The Guardsmen could not dodge it because they were suppressed. That's definitely a common tactic among mid to high level players, using suppression to use abilities that would otherwise be too easy to dodge. So like grenades, especially doom bolts for the sorcerer, or maybe not easy to dodge but can be dodged. They basically make it so you either you can't dodge it and you take the full damage, or you're forced to retreat. But yeah, Eldar can be pretty tough for Imperial Guard. Especially a teleporting Warp Spider Exarch actually has a pretty good chance to chase down a Sentinel and then wipe it if the Sentinel is not well managed, and kill the Sentinel in situations where no other hero would, aside from maybe the Mech Boy. Anyway, Plague Champion goes down. Deckard is duding about something. Probably just about the fact that the Plague Champion was capturing this point and he just straight up died. He really should not have just died to range fire, especially suppression range fire, which is not exactly high DPS. But Infamus X here is completely suppressed, and I'm starting to feel like his positioning is really bad. He's not actually doing much, and this means that Deckard is kind of fighting alone, and consequently, Deckard is getting pushed off. I think, yeah, these Termagants need to go before they get wiped entirely. As it is, they're going to lose a ton of models. Two more go down from the combination of the Pain Boy and the Warboss. Infamus X, unfortunately, really did not play well in that engagement and ends up losing a Heretic squad, so a bit of a misplay by him, just kind of standing there under suppression and not doing much. Meanwhile, the combination of the Chaos Space Marines, the Warboss, the Shooter Boys, basically the double from nnank and Connors, really just overwhelmed them here, although it looks like Deckard is still getting back out here. We do have some Raptors now from Infamus, And they kind of jumped on that range blob, and they were mostly unopposed, except for the fact that now there are some heretics right here, but there should be some range damage support, except for the fact that the Termagants are nearly dead. Lictor Alpha trying to provide that range support, and the Havocs are probably going to have to go. They're getting chased down by the Raptors, and they definitely will not win against the Raptors. Back down here, we have our Sentinel queuing up the missile launcher upgrade, but can't actually get that yet since Che is not yet in tier 2, but he has gone for a pretty light tier 1. So so has Deckard, so they're getting to tier 2 very quickly. nnank also with a very light tier 1. Infamus, Energetic, and Connors with more typical size tier 1s, and they haven't started tier 2 yet, although it looks like most of them have the resources to do it, and Infamus now starts it. But that Eldar range blob right now, the double Dire Avengers, this grenade ends up being dodged because those guardsmen were not suppressed. And right now, it seems that energetic.vex is really focusing on the guardsmen, bleeding a lot of guardsman models, wasn't even bothering to touch the Sentinel. And of course, unless he actually kills the Sentinel, he doesn't cause any economic damage. If he kills guardsman models, that will bleed them, will require reinforcement costs, even though guardsmen are the cheapest unit to reinforce in the game. Anyway, we have a Lord General with a grenade launcher right here. I feel like that's not the most common upgrade for the Lord General. It doesn't make the Lord General as good for kiting things because he's got the grenade launchers, which are it's hard to hit moving targets with those, but he does get that move ability, which can be pretty good. The grenade launcher functions much like heretic grenade launchers or even Inquisitorial Stormtrooper grenade launchers. However, they're not quite as good. They're not as powerful, and you don't get a barrage ability. So the actual weapon part on that Lord General grenade launcher is really just, I'd say, okay. But the ability can be pretty good if combined with like Ogrins or Catachan Devils, and you can just be very aggressive with the Lord General, or you can run away. Heretics right here in way over their heads end up getting stomped by the Warboss. They might even go down again. This might be another Heretic spot down for Infamus X, except I think that one's going to get out of there alive, but they still took on just way more than they could deal with. They got suppressed by a bunch of things. We got Blight Grenades from nnanks Plague Champion. nnanks Plague Champion has, in addition to Blight Grenades, he's also got the Fetid Armor. That's the tier 1 armor warrior for the Plague Champion. Looks like this Plague Champion, no, he won't go down. We have the tier 1 armor warrior. Gives him only a slight health increase, but also gives him the Unholy Stench ability, just an area of effectability around him that damages and suppresses. Can actually be pretty good as just another melee counter. I've seen some pretty nasty things done with that warrior and ability, even though it's not very commonly used. Dire Avengers getting out of there with, I think, pretty lucky to still have 4 out of 5 models right there. So Lord General here is down. Anyway, that Pain Boy right here, he looks like a Sluggo with just like a special mask or something. But Zoanthrope now out for Deckard. Zoanthrope, a artillery unit for the Tyranids. Now, it is an infantry unit. It walks around. It can be knocked down. It can be, I think it can be suppressed. And it can retreat. However, it has very, very little health, so you really need to be careful with this thing. It can be very, very good, especially if you just keep it at long range and you don't let your opponent get close to it. It does a lot of damage. And it's not quite as, it doesn't telegraph itself quite as clearly as some of the other artillery units like the Plasma Cannon Devastator. Just really have to be careful about teleporting and jumping units with that Zoanthrope, because they can kill it very, very quickly. So we've got some energy shields put up for energetic.vex, and energy shields are a great asset for Eldar. You really have to actually make sure you use them, because Eldar can be so much harder to engage when they actually have energy shields up than when they don't. Some races in particular really, really suffer a lot when having to deal with energy shields. We now have the Wraithguard out for energetic.vex. That's going to be a big problem for Che, except for the fact that Che teched straight to tier 3. He's got Castricans out on the field. Now, Castricans don't exactly beat Wraithguard head-on, but he can probably do something like distract with something else and maybe get plasma guns so that he can do a lot of damage to the Wraithguard, but Imperial Guard generally don't have a great counter to Wraithguard, pretty much. Che might want to consider getting something like the flak jacket on the Lord General, so he can use move, move, move. That would be pretty nice, just considering the ridiculous amount of damage that Wraithguard do. It might be nice to just mitigate that a little bit. But anyway, double Kashrkins is a lot of range damage. So I think what Che's going to want to do at this point is make sure he keeps all of his units split up, especially the Kashrkins. I think it would be important to have them split up so that if the Wraithguard does shoot them, it only hits like one of them. Wow, friendly fire on that Sentinel, I think killed a bunch of Guardsman models. Although the Kashrkins taking down the energy shields very quickly. Low health Guardsman squads can't stay around here too long or they will get wiped. And actually now the Wraithguard are in a terrible amount of trouble. They do manage to blow up some Kashrkins. Wow, beautiful. So I actually like what Che is doing right here. Is he going to wipe out any more squads? Wipes out a Dire Avenger squad as well. Wow, Energetic Vex just got hit really, really hard. And, you know, I'm liking this from Che. He's got some very interesting technology out of his Lord General. He's using the move, move, move ability to be very aggressive with the Kashrkins. And you just have these extremely mobile, high-damage range fire. And especially considering Kashrkins are already considered probably slightly too powerful. But that, so combining it with something like move, move, move ended up being really, really good. So Che had some nice victories over there in his lane, taking out Wraithguard, and I believe took out a Dire Avenger squad. Or did he? Yeah, because I feel like he took out 2 squads, although it looks like, I don't know. Anyway, we've got a Chaos Dreadnought out for nnank. The Chaos Dreadnought right here. There are a lot of things to counter this Chaos Dreadnought. We've got a Las Cannon Havoc out of Infamus. We've also got some Venom Brood out of Deckard. Now the Venom Brood they actually do, well, they do pretty good DPS. But they cannot snare. They can move, however, so some good things about them. This Lictor Alpha needs some support. Went in with Feeder Tendrils and Deadly Jump. He might go down here, and he does. But the Chaos team right here, oh, there is a Plague Cloud going to take out one of those Heretics, that Heretic squad. No, Heretics get out of there alive. Can the Havocs get out of there alive for nnank, though? nnank gets his Havocs out of there with 5 hit points. That ends up being a terrible engagement for the red team. And Energetic Vex now apparently getting hit even harder while I turned away. He either lost his Autarch or he sky-leapt her. But he definitely lost another Dire Avenger squad, and he loses his Warp Spider Exarch. So suddenly, wow, just... Che getting... Not Che, but Che hitting Energetic Vex incredibly hard. I think it's this Kashrkin rush, and Kashrkins are very, very powerful. They're definitely one of the best range units in the game. And they're absolutely melting these shooter boys right here. Alright, not the Lord General. The Warboss manages to get into one of the Kashrkin squads, but he's not going to be able to do too much damage. He doesn't have an upgraded weapon, and he's going to get focus fired. I think we do have the Flak Jacket right now. That is the Flak Jacket from the Lord General. He's got, yes. So that reduces the damage that his squads receive as long as they're under the effects of this. Well, I don't feel like that's as good now as it would have been before. I think it was mainly a concern before when the Wraithguard were still around. Now it's, I mean, it'll still be good, but not as good. Anyway, we've got some knobs out of Connors. Grenades go in on the Heretics, take out a bunch of models. That was, it's not even showing me how many models it died with the red increase for some reason. But that was 6 models. I can count by, yeah. Anyway, 2 heroes down, and let's see. Oh yeah, they asked Che for a revive. So yeah, Che looks like he's going over there, but there are a lot of things in the way of that revive. Zoanthrope took a shot and hit absolutely nothing. Creeping Barrage or a Rocket Run. No, not a Creeping Barrage, a Rocket Run. My God, took out a Heretic and a Havoc. Not powerful enough to take out a Pain Boy, but that was a good Rocket Run. At first I thought it was a Creeping Barrage, but man, Che, I didn't think anyone would have something like a Rocket Run ready, but Che has been doing so well, killed a whole bunch of stuff with all of his Kashrkins, that he had a Rocket Run ready. And And the rocket run is just especially great for wiping squads, especially weaker infantry squads. And especially when your opponent is all bunched up. It looks like these Kashyyyks are going to get suppressed. One of them is probably going to have to go. Lost 2 models so far. We have a machine ready. We've got the Lehman Russ. I always thought it was interesting that the Lehman Russ is the name of a Space Marine Primarch, and yet it's also the name of the Imperial Guard tank. Not Guardian Weapon Team went down there. But yeah, the Lehman Russ is the name of a Space Marine Primarch, and yet it's the Imperial Guard tank. I almost feel like the names Predator and Lehman Russ should be switched. But here's a Rox. The Rox can it take out the Raptors at least? Came pretty good. Might still, it takes out the Raptors. Just the right combination of Rox. No, it didn't take out the Raptors. There's still a Raptor model here. Just kidding. We actually feel like the name Predator would kind of fit in better with the rest of the names of the Imperial Guard vehicles, like Hellhound, Chimera, Banewolf, just like all named after some kind of animal. Predator is like kind of a class of animals in the food chain. But no, instead they got the Lehman Russ. We've got Lone Slugger Boys right here. Level 2, but no upgrades whatsoever. Not going to do very well against this little blob right here from Deckard. Deckard, meanwhile, has a Carnifex. He's got a Venom Cannon Carnifex. So that Venom Cannon is going to give him some AV damage. Although the Venom Cannon Carnifex, I feel, is not really that great. It cannot fire on the move, I believe, and I think that ends up being pretty bad for it, because I think it often stutter steps when trying to shoot at moving targets that are getting outside of its range and just really kind of derping. Anyway, Lehman Russ cannot afford to stop moving. Grenades go in to knock over the knobs as well as the Pain Boy, and now Energetic Vex is suddenly overwhelming Che, and I think he's doing it in part with the help of nnank. But he's still chasing. The Sentinel nearly went down. So did the Lehman Russ, to be honest. I don't know why I would lie, but anyway. We do have double fire prisms. Looks like one is already down, so now we've only got single fire prisms. We're snared by the focused warp blast of the Zoanthrope, and then just some follow-up shots from the Venom Cannon Carnifex as well as the Venom Brood. Meanwhile, I don't know what this Lictor Alpha was doing over here. Probably just going for a back cap, but there were plenty of Shooter Boys as well as some heretics around to detect a back capping a Lictor Alpha. And the second fire prism goes down, so Energetic Vex, man, he's been getting hit really hard ever since, pretty much just ever since Che killed his Wraith Guard. Energetic Vex has just been dying all day, getting hit really, really hard. One of the Heretic squads goes down for Infamus X, just taking too much damage from the damage over time aura from the Great Unclean One. Here is an Eldritch Chaos Predator, walks nearly right into it and goes down. That Chaos Predator was for Infamus, meanwhile the Great Unclean One for nnank. So at least Energetic Vex still in this game, still had something to say about the occurrences of this game. Havoc gonna go down. One more hit from the Warboss takes out that Havoc. So Infamus now has no squads whatsoever. Well, no, I'm exaggerating. He has squads. He doesn't have too many squads, and he lost a lot. 2 heroes go down at once. Warboss, level 7, and Lord General, level 6, down on the ground. Weird. Lord General, I would generally not think of him as the killiest hero, but he was probably just contributing a little bit of damage to everything else, and then it's the Kashyyyks that are really getting the kills. Kashyyyks are really getting killed now. They got hit by a D-cannon shot, so we've got this one Kashyyyk that really needs to get out of there. A singularity is going to happen, but it's not going to pull anything in. But yeah, these Kashyyyks, this particular Kashyyyk squad with only about 15% health really needs to go. Even this other one taking too much damage from the knob is going to start losing models. Pretty lucky to not lose models. And Che might also really want to consider getting plasma guns on really any squad that he can. It wouldn't hurt his damage against infantry, and it would help him for dealing with these knobs. Meanwhile, he actually lost one of his guardsman squads. And here is a Chaos Terminator call-in for whom, though? Okay, that was for Infamus. Just making sure it wasn't an offensive call-in by nnank, because that would have been very suicidal. Che actually getting a second Lehman Russ now.
Sir, our advantage is slight.
And there is that Executioner Cannon absolutely destroying heretics. Ooh, a very close call for nnank. Nearly lost his heretic squad and still actually coming pretty close to losing it. Meanwhile, we've got a Tzeentch Dreadnought threatening this Leman Russ. Leman Russ got a little too brazen trying to be aggressive and maybe chase down that dying heretic squad. And the Leman Russ goes down. Just took some missile hits from that Tzeentch missile launcher. The Tzeentch missile launcher is very powerful. I mean, the damage it does is actually very, very good. It's actually better than tanks. It does better damage than tanks, but normally it just gets countered by tanks because of the fact that it's a dreadnought and a walker, so it can't really kite, whereas tanks can. That being said, especially right now with the fact that it's at level 3, the damage that this Mark of Tzeentch Dreadnought is doing is probably on par with a las cannon Predator, which is a huge amount. It's also got 1,210 health now that it is, well, now that it's level 2, and that it's got some levels. Anyway, the Warp Spider Exarch looks like he was going for a cap, but not able to get it. We've got some autocannon Terminators doing a lot of area effect damage to the Dire Avengers. I don't know why the Chaos Terminators decided they needed to teleport in to get closer to the Dire Avengers. They were doing it just fine, just with the autocannon and their Stormbolters, and now they're potentially at risk for anything else that might threaten them, such as this Battle Wagon. But back over here, looks like we had an Imperial Abyss near... Oh, did finish off the Zone Thrope. I didn't think that was going to happen. Looks like it might have taken out some other squads, and just one of the hooks actually took out the Zone Thrope. Looks like we're going to have a combination, Singularity and... You know, Singularity and Wailing Doom that didn't actually kill anything. Oh, this is the end of the Chaos Dreadnought, though. That level 3 Chaos Dreadnought. Unfortunately, there's really not a whole lot it can do about a Swarm Lord. Swarm Lord, one of the great advantages of the Swarm Lord is that it's faster. Is that another rocket run? It is another rocket run. Oh my god, Che. And again, he wipes 2 squads out of it. So he's really been making bank on his rocket runs, like actually making sure he kills squads with his nukes. And I mean, that's the great thing about the rocket run. You can very reliably kill squads with it, especially the weaker they are, or if they're just easier to kill weaker squads than tougher squads. You can also kill some tougher squads if they're just under strength, if they're like low on health. D-Cannon takes refuge in the building against that Swarm Lord that was chasing it. Swarm Lord... I don't know who it's going to win here between the Swarm Lord and the Great Unclean One. It's probably a pretty close call, and I think they're going to need to get support, but it looks like nnank does not want to push his luck. He wants to make sure he keeps the Great Unclean One alive, but as long as he's going to do that, he needs to get support out. I think most importantly, maybe if he can get his Plague Marines over there, or the Swarm Lord is going to stop going after the Great Unclean One and start going after the Avatar. I think it would still have to get the Plague Marines out here to slow down the Swarm Lord. Just get one missile shot, slow down that Swarm Lord to save the Avatar, as well as the Great Unclean One, to be honest. Here is a Tyrannoformation. That Swarm Lord going in hard, but now actually backs out the Tyrannoformation. Will it end up wiping that D-Cannon? It just might. Actually, it looks like it's not. Anyway, we have an entirely new Leman Russ. This one actually has the Vanquisher Cannon instead of the Executioner. That's going to make it quite a bit better for dealing with vehicles. It will have longer range. It will also do more damage. Well, we've got a Spore Mine call in. They're trying to pin the red team in their base, and a rock scares them off, but doesn't actually kill anything. Or the Venoms might actually just walk right into the rocks, but it doesn't happen. Anyway, I don't know what those Venoms were doing, actually. Here is a Singularity. Those Kashyyyks need to get out of there. I don't think they'll get pulled in. Some of them actually do get pulled in, and they do die, but Kashyyyks are just tough enough that they can afford to actually get pulled in, especially at level 4. They've got quite a bit more health than they would normally have. Anyway, it looks like blue team taking the lead in things now. It's definitely felt like Che in particular has been really, really strong in this game. Infamus and nnank clearly losing a lot of things. Energetic Vex has also been losing a lot of things. Connors I haven't seen as much of, but he's certainly got the squad preservation here. I mean, he's had this Pain Boy around ever since Tier 1. Warboss and Pain Boy have quite a few levels. He's still got his Battle Wagon as well. And he's got massive, well, not massive, but he's got resources. He's got decent resources in the bank, so he can afford to reinforce his losses. The Chaos player is just not looking so strong and need to be very careful with what they do and make sure they don't lose too much. Unfortunately, the Leman Russ with the Vanquisher Cannon definitely loses a lot of its anti-infantry capability with that Vanquisher Cannon. The Vanquisher, there the Vanquisher actually hit, but otherwise the Vanquisher does seem to miss infantry a lot, but it is very, very good against vehicles and super units. Oh, I don't know why those... Uh-oh. Che, unfortunately, kind of catching himself in really bad positioning right now. Very nice use of incoming, though, on the flak jacket to make those squads immune to knockback so they didn't get knocked down. Starting to look bad for Che. He's going to probably lose this Leman Russ right here, being chased down by Knobs, being chased down also by the Great Unclean One, but actually, where did it go? Oh, yeah, it went down. Here is the Land Raider Phobos. Land Raider Phobos needs to be careful, though. It's not exactly unthreatened, but this new Leman Russ needs to come out and support. So does the Sentinel. Sentinel can actually support quite well. My god, the super unit trained from Deckard. He lost most of his Tier 1 and Tier 2 stuff, so he's just replaced it. He's got 2 Carnifexes, two Venom Cannon Carnifexes, in fact, as well as a Swarm Lord. I don't know why he's moving so close with that Predator, but what they really need right now is micro. What's a big part of just what's going to determine who wins this engagement is the micro. Now, the Land Raider Phobos is in a ton of trouble, though, and it just might go down. Actually, this is looking really bad for the blue team. Land Raider Phobos goes down, and the Chaos Predator, I think, was really lucky to not go down. Although it looks like the Predator for nnank did go down as well. He had a las cannon Predator. We've got the Leman Russ chasing down a Fire Prism. I think it actually, I think it could have gotten both Fire Prisms, but it did give up the chase on that one that's farther away. Meanwhile, this Venom Cannon Carnifex level 3 is going to go down. All of the super units are going down pretty much at this point. We even had an Abyss on the point, but I don't know what that did. I think it mostly probably just killed the Lord General and not much else.
We shall die here.
And here it's now the Great Unclean One's turn to get down, taking too much damage, takes 2 crack grenades. That's going to be it for him, as well as just taking range fire from Infamus's Predator and this Venom Cannon Carnifex. So just everything is dying, especially all these super units and vehicles. nnank still has nothing. It's funny, I think nnank sent me this replay, and I thought he sent it to me because he said he didn't play well in a different cast, so he sent some where he did play better, but he's kind of struggling in this game. Another Carnifex goes down, so Deckard just lost 3 things.
We are under attack. Reporting enemy contact.
Meanwhile, this Predator has no repair support aside from the Plague Champion. Where is the Plague Champion? He is in retreat. No upgrades whatsoever on this Plague Champion. Definitely an unupgraded Plague Champion is not going to scale very well at all for fighting purposes. And part of the reason that's kind of sad is that it basically does mean that the Plague Champion does not really scale as a ranged unit. Is that another rocket run? Yes, it is. I think he wiped 1 squad already. Can he get another one? No, he missed that time, and I think ended up killing some of his own stuff. So that was Che's 3rd rocket run. He's really just apparently killing a lot, bleeding a lot. I mean, most of his things are level 4. Yeah. He's got level 4 everything except for this new Leman Russ, but I think this is like his 3rd Leman Russ. And he's also got a level 9 Lord General, so he's been killing so much stuff. So he's been getting a ton of red. And that red means he was able to do 3 rocket runs, and I guess was not using it against anything else. Double Plague Marines right here. Gonna threaten this Leman Russ. Leman Russ might not even be able to move. Actually, it can. I lied. And we've got a D-cannon right here that can also take shots. Plague Cloud here to deter the Castricans. And oh my god, they wipe out one of the Plague Marine squads.
We are
The second one now also in a lot of trouble trying to capture that point, and I think only the Plague Cloud is saving them. But Che manages to micro away from the Plague Cloud. I almost said microwave from the Plague Cloud. And he kills another squad of Plague Marines. Just the damage that Kashrkins do is quite ridiculous.
Reporting the size of that thing. Fire prism attack.
Anyway, 1-2. The cap. It's a 2-1 cap in favor of the red team. nnank has literally nothing now. Now he literally has nothing. And 138 VPs to 161. With the red team actually now has a 2-0 cap. Knobs coming in for just a flank or whatever. Now might be a good time for some Ard boys or some user choppas. Instead, it looks like they're going to get stomped by the Sentinel, so maybe that wasn't a good time. And both Lehmans get out of there. Sticking just with the main battle cannon right now, which is actually a pretty good choice because you get both a lot of AV capabilities as well as very good anti-infantry with that main battle cannon. And not getting an upgrade. And of course, getting an upgrade also costs resources. And I also believe it's better to get 2 tanks than to get 1 upgraded tank. Battle Wagon now in a lot of trouble. That's the end of the Battle Wagon. Just totally YOLO'd it. I don't know what the point that was. And finally, apparently, the Sentinel went down. Here's an Imperial Abyss hitting absolutely nothing. Knobs do not even really retreat through the center, so not much happens there. 1-1 cap. Red team getting their natural, though, so they'll be able to start ticking the VPs back in their favor, and they are at a disadvantage. Meanwhile, what is this? Pain Boy still level 4. Looks like Connors now has lost some stuff, has lost some Shooter Boys. He's got some Flash Gets. And I do remember that he did get hit by a rocket run, which explains why and how he lost some things. New Swarm Lord for Deckard. Deckard also sitting on enough red to do a Tyranna formation. Connors, meanwhile, has about 500 red, and energetic.vex has about 500 red. So we've got some potential nukes in store. Tanks need to be careful because the Kashrkins were going for a crack grenade. Couldn't get close enough, I think. And now they're taking a lot of damage. Grenade goes in, just a regular grenade goes in on the Flash Gets, knocks them down. And we have a turret going up on this point, probably as a way of protecting it and holding it. And the red team really needs to worry about protecting and holding their points. Energetic.vex has managed to rebuild an entire army. Where is that Eldritch? It's right here. Unfortunately, this is pretty much everything. So a completely wasted Eldritch. One of the Fire Prisms goes down to this Chaos Predator with the Mark of Khorne. I think if the Chaos Predator keeps chasing the Fire Prism, it could take it out. But instead it looks like they're prioritizing going all in to take out this Predator. And what can the Predator do? It looks like Che might be trying to finish off the Fire Prisms, though. One of the Fire Prisms goes down. The Avatar will undoubtedly go down, but we have a new Battle Wagon from Connors as well. Come on, that Fire Prism. So yes, a Fire Prism down. The Avatar might actually survive unless all cannons are focused on it now, and they actually give that up. I feel like with the amount of health that was left on that Avatar, just immediately focusing it with the cannons would have taken it out. Swarm Lord manages to get around the turret. Both Lehmans now in a bit of trouble, being chased down by las cannon predators. If anything, if both of the Lehman Russes turned around, here is a Tyranna formation. Just so much going on in this game. I feel like if the Lehman Russes turned around and just went for the las cannon predator, they might take it out. Las cannon predator, high damage, but not exactly the most durable tank. So we might see the Lehman Russ will be lucky to get out of there alive. The Bane, not the Bane Blade, the Battle Wagon just sitting here, got hit by crack grenades. Here is, what is this? We got light grenades on top of, I think, probably a singularity. A singularity that's not going to go off because the D-cannon must have been forced off. And oh, a bunch of Kashrkin models get gibbed by the... Something went down here. I don't even know what. It must have been nnanx's Predator. And oh my god, here is a Rox, and oh, it looks like Che, a little slow to respond, manages to get stuff out of there. Lost one Lehman Russ, though. Oh no, and he might finally lose one of these Kashrkins. The Kashrkins have been so beastly, they've really done a lot to, here is another rocket run. I think he did that time just to save his Kashrkins, but that was the 4th rocket run. The 4th one. Anyway, 1-to-1 cap. Blue team actually really doesn't have that many VPs, as good as I have said that Che has done. The blue team really does not have many VPs. They've only got 22. Che actually said 5 nukes. I only counted 4 rocket runs. Although in the course of this game, there was definitely way more than 5 nukes. Although some of the nukes haven't been that good. Anyway, Mega Boom Shot on the Plague Marines. Does knock them over, but doesn't actually do that much damage. They had kind of escaped most of it. But Plague Marines in here. The Chaos Space Marines are going to get wiped, while the Plague Marines, hopefully they can get a shot off so that the Predator can help follow up. But now we have an Avatar that was left alive, and consequently it is back out at a full 5,600 hit points, when I personally feel it should have died. Anyway, oh, this Chaos Predator is down. Yep. Finished off by the Battle Wagon. And this is also like Che's 4th or 5th Lehman Russ. I think it's actually his 5th. And which tank is this? I mean, nnank doesn't even have Heretics, so he might not even be bothering to repair. I would imagine, though, that he would be trying to repair with his Plague Champion. And this Plague Champion... We've got one level 6 Plague Champion with no upgrades, one level 8 Plague Champion has upgrades but no weapon upgrade. We've got a Warp Spider Exarch with Phase Armor, which we have not even seen him use yet, but that can be a game changer if he combines that with an Eldritch Storm or a Wailing Doom. We've also got the improved Targeters. He's had that for a while, though. Warboss fully upgraded. Power Claw, Heavy Armor, or Heavy Armor, and the Trophy Rack. That makes him scale very well. He becomes ridiculously tough. So much so that he can really just wade into things, even in Tier 3, when things get absolutely ridiculous. And this Battle Wagon, I feel, also is done. It overextended. 2 more missile shots will do it. If the Plague Marines can actually get off a missile shot. And, I mean, it just needs some kind of other source of AV to help finish it off as well. Che, now getting pushed back, puts down a heavy turret. I don't know about that. I mean, it can do a lot of damage, but I think it'll be easily overwhelmed by the knobs. Here is that phase shift. But what we're missing here is the follow-up with a Wailing Doom. I mean, you don't... That would be really, really powerful, and he doesn't bother to follow up with a Wailing Doom. Now he goes for the Wailing Doom, and, I mean, at this point, he went for the Wailing Doom very late, and Che just activated incoming and just kind of walked out of there a little bit, so that wasn't that big of a deal. Can he keep this Lehman Russ alive? He's just got to keep it moving, Alright, he keeps the Lehman Russ alive. Very close call. I actually feel Che has played very well all game. However, it looks like the game is just about to finish in favor of the red team, unless this Lictor... Is that a Lictor Alpha? Lictor Alpha manages to get the decap right here against all odds. Can we see this Avatar finally go down? And we also need... Che needs to just get out of there. There really isn't the time to like, not go for it. They need to, like, get something on this point, because soon... The Lictor Alpha is he even going to get the cap off? He does, but he goes down, he dies trying. So, wow, look at the speed of these Kashrkins. How are they even going so fast? Where is the Lord General? Yeah, they must have used move, and now he needs to get on the point. He needs to get on the point. Like, he really does not have the time to waste. Get on the point with anything. They are out of time. Need to get on that point now, or the game is over. And it looks like that could be it. Lord General is on the point. There's not much time because they need to get that cap. They need to at least get the decap before this cap goes up over here. All right, 1-to-1 still, quite crazily, but that's also the Autarch. The Autarch just straight up goes down from the Kashrkin fire. He needs to get back on that point like now. Like does he understand? Like he has no time. Like, you really can't afford to not go for the point at this point. He's got 2 squads of Kashrkins. They can tough out the damage for a little bit, but there's an Imperial Abyss. And he tries to tough it out, but it just doesn't work like that against, I mean, it's a 1-to-1 cap. But this Predator is going to go down as long as, if the Lehman Russ moves back up. Can't capture in the Abyss, though. Need to wait for that to finish. There we go. Unfortunately, the... Alright. Now, what Che still has in his bank, whatever that is, he's got another rocket run. So, if they try to capture this point, he's got to use the rocket run to stop the cap. We even have some warp spiders. Looks like they might try to go for a decap on this VP, but there is some protection in the form of the Plague Champion turret. See, like right now, if he can't make it here, but he can't see, that's the problem. He can't see the VP. This might be it. And we've even got warp spiders get the decap off. My God, they give their lives to get the decap, and that actually ends up being the win in the red team's favor. That was a really crazy game. Red team take it, although Che played particularly well, I feel. Hope you enjoyed the cast. Have a good night.